and welcome once again. All Takes Valid, episode 46. As always, I go by Trill Trayy, joined once again with Spencer SP21 and Mr. Vick Bynum. Vic, why don't you go ahead and give them a rundown of today's episode?
With today's episode again, episode 46. Um, for those that have been following us, we have been doing a team by team, basically informing our fans, all of our followers, that hey, this is what we're gonna do for each team, going from worst to first. We started off with the Jags. We ended out last week with the the Cowboys. Today we were gonna do the Giants and 49ers, but we'll leave that for the next episode. So today we'll be talking about two topics. The first one, Drew Brees has made it official, and we'll discuss more on what he made official today. And we'll end it off with the chaos that's been going on, the Patriots free agency. So with that being said, Drew Brees has officially announced his retirement. Trey, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, to say that we didn't see this coming would probably be a lie. A lot of people have been making a joke that his arm retired maybe about 3 years ago. But whatever. He finally caught the hint. No, but yeah, like I said, not surprising. I know there was a little speculation that maybe he didn't want to go out the way he went out, the way he looked. That last game against the Bucks, the playoff game. But I mean, at a certain point, you got to look at like how not even last season, but look at the last 4 years of the heartbreaks through the playoffs and everything. And then all the injuries he had this year. What he had broken ribs, his shoulder, like he was just all banged up this season pretty much. So I couldn't really see him coming back. I was surprised that, well, not surprised that he came back this year, and but you notice he was out the whole time, and then when they had that first big game, which was against the Chiefs, they activated him that game. So it was like you knew they were just kind of saving him for when they really kind of needed him for those big games. They put him out there for the playoffs. But he has a Hall of Fame resume, right? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Nobody is going to deny that part of it, but it's not necessarily ending on the note that you kind of want to go out on. Maybe Ben should have did the same thing, but you see, he's trying to come back. He don't want to go out like that. He want to go out with some dignity. We'll talk about that a little bit later once we get into the whole free agency thing, because it's all your fault, Ben. But as far as Brees, again, no surprise here. It leaves some questions as far as what's to come, which again, once we talk about free agency, we'll touch on some of those things here, because both quarterbacks did get new deals. So who's going to be the heir apparent in New Orleans? That's going to be the big thing. The team is pretty much together, so they're not hurt from that standpoint. But are you going to have somebody that's going to give you the same success and stability that Brees has given the Saints for 15 years at this point? Like, what's crazy is most people don't remember Drew Brees playing for the Chargers.
No,
Drew Brees as being a member of the Saints. So that's telling you that he had a pretty good run in New Orleans. That tells you enough right there. A lot of people, again, like if you told them he used to play for the Chargers, they'd be like, "What?" Like they would be so dumbfounded and confused, like nobody would even know that. So he's probably one of the few people to leave somewhere and then go and have more like a better career on the second team versus the first team. Doesn't happen too often. Usually when they let those type of guys go, especially quarterbacks, usually when they let them go, yeah, they ended up being right by letting them go. So, but hell of a career. It's crazy that he only had one Super Bowl appearance, despite all the numbers and everything. But it is what it is. I know he'll be missed by Vick. All the years of terrorizing. You're gonna miss that. But yeah, Vick, how do you feel about it? I know you're ecstatic. I mean, I know you're ecstatic. I'm sorry, actually.
Real quick before I give my input on that, Trey, show all the fans that jersey that you rocking right now.
The Ronnie Brown?
Yeah.
Take it back. Just got back in town, actually, literally an hour or so ago. Just got back from Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, visiting some family. So, had a rep for the boys real quick, We'll talk about them a little bit too and what they've done or haven't done in free agency. But on to Drew Brees. I know Vic wants to really touch on this. So
well, all right. So obviously it's a happy day in the NFL. Especially for the Bucs fans out there. Obviously, Drew Brees, you couldn't help yourself seeing Tom Brady sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. So he was like, "Hey, I can't retire. I gotta see, doing it through Tom Brady. Y'all swept us in the regular season, so we beat y'all when it count. But all jokes aside, Drew Brees definitely, like Trey said, Hall of Famer. I'd definitely say, definitely you can't debate top 10 for sure. Top 5, you can argue that, but top 10, in my opinion, he's definitely on that list. And one thing that I'll say, I was hoping that year when Drew Brees was a free agent, even though the list of teams that he had for the teams that were interested in Drew Brees at that time was Miami and the New Orleans Saints. I was wondering, hey, Tampa Bay, we need a quarterback. Like, I know he was hurt, but
at that time he did.
Yeah, a lot of teams were scared because of the injury. Just not sure whether he was going to be his old self or whatnot, just because of those times. But obviously, Drew Brees, 15 years later, obviously won a championship with New Orleans, and definitely a lot of bad times for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, facing them twice a year. You hated them, but you respected them. One thing that I'll say that I remember back in my early Madden days when I was playing, when I started really getting involved with Madden, he was on the cover of Madden 11, and I was in college, busting everybody's head on that. I was always picking the Saints whenever I was playing for money, and but I played with my Bucks for the most part. But playing with the Saints, and everybody was just amazed just how I was able to move around the pocket. At that time, I was a pocket passer. Trey, how it is with me with the Ravens and whatnot. I ain't so much of a pocket passer. I don't be running them zone reads and stuff like that.
Just talk.
But yeah, so I remember having Drew Brees, using Robert Meacham. Obviously, during those days, he had Reggie Bush in the squad. So Mark Ingram. So it was good time. Good for all the Saints fans because I know y'all had a lot of great years having Drew Brees as a quarterback. Just how efficient he was. Basically everybody knows Drew Brees by his pinpoint accuracy. Like that man just he be throwing things on a dime. Just crazy how you hear stories about Drew Brees and he'll be in the dark on the field, no lights, and just going through every play uh, um, without any receivers, just him and the ball, and just going through his reads, just in the dark with no receivers, and just like how he just has everything just mapped out of like who should be where, and etc. So you know, he's definitely going to be missed by the New Orleans Saints. Definitely missed in terms of his play, what he was able to bring to the game, especially to the New Orleans community. Well respected, but enjoy your retirement, Drew. And look forward to seeing what you got next to do. So, Spence.
Drew MF Brees. That's why I usually call him every time he plays. I call him the comeback king because there were certain games that, man, the Saints are out, and all of a sudden Drew racks up a couple of drives. All of a sudden they're back in the game. Of course, this is a Hall of Fame worthy career. Of course, he's going to be Hall of Fame, no doubt. He will definitely be missed in New Orleans. If anybody, if you told anybody that a guy from Purdue who used to play for the Chargers had one freaky injury, he failed the physical for the Miami Dolphins, and then came to New Orleans after Katrina, after the Aaron Brooks era, take a team to the Super Bowl, win it, they'll look at you crazy. But he did it for his size, his height, his arm strength wasn't crazy, but like you said, it was just accurate. He was able to move the ball accurately throughout the field. He was just able to find ways to keep drives alive. It's going to be a very interesting it's going to be a very different Saints that we usually see now since he's gone. It's going to be interesting. We're going to get into that later, but for the career of Drew Brees, man, I'm gonna miss him. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. He's literally one of my favorite quarterbacks, and yeah. But other than that, man, happy for the guy. Wish nothing for the best. Probably see him in commentary, maybe.
I think he did announce that he took a deal. I can't remember what station it was. Hold on, give me a second.
I would say he
did.
I would say he's one of those people that he's gonna be a commentator.
Give me just a second here to confirm that, but yeah, I think I did remember seeing something about him.
Yeah,
but
other than that, then it's gonna be very, very interesting to see this season, especially with free agency about. But man, I mean, we all saw it coming, but I guess he just like, man, I didn't want to end it that sourly, but the one person that'll never be defeated.
Want to come back and potentially go out worse.
True, and I think he just felt like, man, this is probably the best it's gonna be. Listen, the only person that's beating Father Time is the quarterback that Vick got. That's the only one that's beating time right now.
That is true.
That's the only one that's being Father Time.
That's for now. Father Time is still undefeated.
For now.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Which is why to me I said that Brady probably just had one of the greatest seasons ever, just based on the competition that he beat to win this Super Bowl. First year, new team, new system, new everything, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that you said was sixth quarterback. Well, he went and beat Brees, he beat Rodgers, and he beat Mahomes all in the same season. I'd ride off into the sunset. Like, why not? You can't write it any better than that.
Nah. Now it's just to piss people off now. But
I think he did that a long time ago.
Yeah, but in the words of Drew Brees, hey, have a great one, man. You earned it.
Okay, and yeah, so it's NBC he got a deal with. He's gonna be a sports analyst for NBC.
Oh, well, so we'll see him Sunday night.
Yep. Football Night in America, Sunday nights with Drew Brees. So like that.
Him and Tony Dungy. Oh, that's gonna be an interesting combo.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like that a lot.
I mean, if he's half as good as Romo transitioned beautifully, and
I wish Romo coach because Romo can actually coach.
it's crazy.
I mean,
A lot of people say they're like, he's like, how can he read everything now, but he couldn't read it when he was playing?
Because there's no 100 guys running at him in 60 miles per hour. That's why.
I mean, I think he did it.
No, Romo was a good quarterback despite what
He was
people.
a good quarterback.
Oh yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
Because they have any
Romo was a
player,
good
he didn't have
quarterback.
he didn't have the postseason success like other.
That's,
Yeah.
But
That's
regular
what.
season, he definitely was a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
Majority of his playing career, like
Yeah.
you
But
think Tony Romo could ball. It's just
I'm-
playoffs.
Have y'all noticed that like Tony Romo typically he's able to tell you what the offense is doing more so than what the defense is going to do. I mean, he can give you options of what the defense can do. But,
the
he
Chiefs game.
typically,
The Patriots Chiefs game last year, he was calling that all game.
yeah.
He was
In
calling
terms of like what they were doing,
game.
what the defense was going to do, or
Yeah,
the
he was
offense
calling
was
what the defense would do. What are you going to
Oh,
do?
okay.
Where the defense at? I was like, Tony can coordinate at least. If he's not going to coach, he can coordinate. He just don't want to.
I believe he could. I believe he could if he wanted to. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a less demanding job in terms of having to deal with coaches, other players, and GMs and team owners.
You
So,
focus on a specific set of people
yeah,
being a coordinator.
but it's impressive though.
He could definitely be a quarterback's coach.
Yeah. But if anything,
QB room.
yeah. But if anything, if Tony can do it, hopefully Drew can do it.
And
my thing would just be the I guess the personality, which I don't know much about Brees like as far in that capacity, so I don't know. But
True, because
knowledge of the game and everything obviously has that, so that's not going to be the issue.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, the personality is something that we'll definitely be intrigued to see. But I have no doubt that he would transition just fine. I'm sure y'all do have the same thought as well when it comes to Drew Brees, because he's, obviously been man of the year and been, I guess, publicly widely known around the NFL as a great character guy, well liked in the locker room, even despite what happened previously before the year started.
Right.
So I mean, despite that, and people still have great things to say about him. It shows a lot.
Yeah. So Brees, congratulations on a great career. Like we said, nobody's doubting you'll be a Hall of Famer. We came on here when Phillip Rivers retired, and we're kind of questioning it a little bit. I think I had more so doubts on it. I want to say Vick was in on Rivers being in, and Spence on the fence kind of too.
Yeah.
But Brees, I don't think there's any question as far as him.
Yeah.
I think, and the thing is, I know they both are gonna get in, but I was just saying as far as with Rivers, I don't kind of know so much should he necessarily get in, but that's
I think more the argument with that would be we all know Drew Brees is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
Phillip Rivers won't be a first ballot. He'll be more like a third or fourth, like terms of attempt.
Yeah.
But not somebody like, hey,
like it's
Manning.
a no-brainer. Yeah.
So funniest thing, this said 17 seconds. That's just like Peyton. Yes. All right, move on.
So yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, great career for Brees. Interesting to see how they're gonna transition going forward at quarterback, which is gonna pretty much lead us to where we're heading now, which is, as Vick so eloquently put it, the Patriots free agency, not the NFL free agency. We're about to talk about the Patriots free agency because all I've saw.
No, we're gonna talk about everybody else.
Shit. All I seen on my headlines that I was getting was New England. They pretty much signed everybody. So we're about to get into that. Did y'all have anything else on Brees before we move on to the next topic?
Nothing about Brees, but if we want to transition into the whole Patriot free agency, before we talk about the Patriots, since we're talking about the New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston re-signed with the New Orleans Saints, 1 year deal, up to $12 million, not fully guaranteed, but it looks like
Hill signed a fake contract, which is crazy. Which all years are voidable for 140 million or something stupid like that. But they're all voidable years. Just another way to manipulate the cap. Like I was telling y'all last
year. Roger Goodell is about to get on. Roger Goodell is definitely getting on.
It's going to be all over this because too many teams are finding just ways to exploit. Which I get why I get why it's never happened before, because usually the cap goes up every year. The number goes up every year, but because of the pandemic, it drops. So it's forcing the teams to use these creative ways to move the money around and make things work. But if I'm a bad team with money, I'm pissed because these good teams, they're doing all this stuff, going through loopholes, and they're keeping potential people that I could have actually paid fairly. So
we're gonna get into that.
All right, but yeah, Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill both resigned. I guess it's gonna be a quarterback competition.
It is.
Say what you want about Jameis. I don't think it's much of a competition to me.
30 for 30.
That's one season.
Yeah.
Jameis overall, I think, is a way better quarterback than Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I personally
head and shoulders better than Taysom Hill.
Okay. All right.
I personally was hoping that Jameis Winston would stay with the Bucs. I was one of the few, because it was going like a wildfire in the forest of Bucs fans that were just done with Jameis Winston. Obviously, that was his first year in Bruce Arians' system. Obviously, this past year he sat a whole year behind Drew Brees, learned the system, which is something that I felt like he needed to do with the Bucs anyways. But I was kind of hoping that he would stay with the Bucs and kind of learn from Tom Brady. But obviously, he chose. It seemed like the relationship between the Bucs and Jameis went pretty bad, and he went to Louisiana. Which what better way to get back at your team than to go to a division rival? So, yeah, I mean, I think personally he's going to be the starting quarterback. I feel like that's something that everybody agrees with. Taysom Hill, no disrespect to you, solid QB, but yeah, Jameis is the man. He got LASIK eye surgery before the season, after the season, from when he finished with the Bucs, and I just feel like he just needed a better opportunity to develop and become a potential franchise quarterback, which is what he was drafted to be.
It's a lot of talk with Winston about bad Jameis, which there's a lot of bad Jameis, but what most forget to mention is the good of Jameis Winston, because you don't throw for 5,000, 4,000 yards by accident, just being bad, like just being a bum. It doesn't happen. Not on the NFL level. So you can say what you want. You can say that my biggest thing with Jameis, because I used to watch, not a Bucs fan by far, but I used to watch a lot of games, obviously. So my thing with Jameis is it'd be the bonehead interceptions that used to like confuse me. Like some interceptions, they weren't all on him. Even the 30 for 30, as you mentioned, Spence, not all 30 interceptions were on Jameis. So
no.
Certain times where a receiver's not in the right place and he thinks they're going to be a certain place. But it was the bonehead interceptions that I just can't get over.
I remember. It was against the Bengals. Mike Evans showed it when he threw a pick. Mike Evans said, "Oh."
Yeah, it's just certain stuff. It's like because there's also games I can think of off the top of my head where Jameis actually put the Bucks in position to win, and whether it was the
Yep.
kicker missed a kick or
Mhm.
so, just the whole notion that all of Winston and Tampa was just horrible. That's a lie because there were some other factors into why the Bucks didn't have the success that they most recently just had with Brady. It wasn't all just because of Winston. I can say that being
Right.
unbiased. But nonetheless, though, I mean, definitely they upgraded at quarterback for the short term for sure. Got a Super Bowl, potentially going to try to run it back. So, but I feel Vick on wanting to keep the younger guy around and maybe have him learn from. If you had Jameis sitting there learning from a Brady to potentially now, okay, you lost your job, you got to see how it's supposed to be done, and then get the wheels back and you know uh try to be like Vic said, a franchise quarterback. But I get why you feel like he feels like he already is that, and he went to the Saints to personally prove that to the Bucks. That's his mission, which I
Yeah.
think we seen how excited he was the regular season game when the Saints beat the Bucks, and he didn't even really do anything, but he was so ecstatic over that win. You've seen in the playoffs where he threw that touchdown against the Bucks. You've seen, so this just feels like it's brewing to be an interesting 2 games a year going forward with Jameis Winston. I'm not gonna say
I,
assuming he's gonna be the starter. I don't think it's a competition to me. I think he's gonna win the job, but we'll see.
I'm gonna say this, and a lot of Bucks fans they may not like it. Some Bucks fans that are realists and probably know where I'm coming from. I will say this may be a bold statement, it may not, but I believe Jameis Winston will be top 15 quarterback. Top 10 is a really big statement, but I'm gonna say top 15 quarterback uh, this upcoming season. And I do believe, like Trey said, I don't see it so much as a quarterback competition. I feel like Taysom Hill will be more so. Again, what he is utilized, a gadget player that can play both quarterback and tight end, even running back. Um, and obviously James will be the main